Are you prepared if hurricane season hits? Hi, and welcome to Volusia Magazine. I'm Amber Patterson. You know, we're still in the middle of hurricane season, with this month typically being the most active month for hurricanes. Find out what you need to know coming up. And then, what's new on the road and bridge horizon, with Community Information Director Dave Byron and his guest, County Engineer Jerry Brinton. Those segments, news, and more coming right up. Stay tuned. It's already September, and we've barely had a breeze, but we're not out of the woods yet. September is the most active month for hurricanes, and it's also National Preparedness Month, and there's no better time to brush up on safety tips and do a self-check on your personal emergency plans.
One of the best ways to start your preparation is to get a plan, and it sounds simple enough, but once that ball starts rolling, you really start to become more resilient. So you get a plan. Once you have your plan and you figure out what you would do for a particular hazard, be it a wildfire or for a hurricane or a tornado, you try to practice the plan, familiarize you and your family with the plan, and you continue to update and exercise that plan as you move through the year.
After a disaster, emergency workers may not be able to reach everyone right away. In some cases, it may take 3 or more days for help to arrive. A disaster plan will help to prepare your family for those difficult times. Discuss your plan as a group so everyone understands what to do in the event of a disaster. For those who have no alternatives, Volusia County will set up hurricane shelters throughout the county.
Our shelters are really lifeboats, not cruise ships. So if you are going to go to a shelter as sort of a second effort, you do want to bring things that are going to make you comfortable.
Volusia County's emergency management personnel encourage you to decide now where you'll stay if an evacuation order is issued. Arrange to stay with friends or relatives who live well inland if possible. You'll be much more comfortable there than in a shelter. For those who have no alternatives, Volusia County will set up hurricane shelters at key locations across the county. Later in the program, health reporter Stephanie Strong will tell us how emergency officials prepare to assist those with special needs. For help creating a personalized family disaster plan, you can visit floridadisaster.org.
In addition to that plan, part of the plan should be a disaster supply kit. Just think through what you would do if you were in your home, of course, safe in your home in a safe location post-disaster, but maybe without power and also without internet access. And so the food and water and the meds come pretty obvious to most people, but it's those outlying things that we really would ask people to kind of think through and incorporate into their individual plan.
Your disaster supply kit should include a 2-week supply of medications and enough drinking water and non-perishable food to last 5 to 7 days. Don't forget your pets, personal items, and first aid supplies. For a list of other items you should include in your disaster supply kit, you'll want to visit volusia.org/emergency. You can reduce damage to your home and property by following a few steps.
The most important thing is that people prepare ahead of time and they have an idea what they're going to do now before an event happens, before they get into panic mode and they forget everything of what they were going to do. If you have a plan, then that alleviates a lot of that panic when something happens.
Start by walking around your home and looking for vulnerable areas such as the roof, garage door, patio door, windows, and yard.
If you lose your garage door, it's the biggest hole in your house and it lets all that wind in to uplift on your roof. So you want to make sure that your garage door is strong and stays solid during any kind of a wind event.
It's important to protect all the windows and doors in your home with options like hurricane-rated windows and shutters.
The best way is to have a professional come in and shutter your windows. With whatever system, there's several that are available. You can get the verticals that stay on the house and you just pull them closed. There's the roll down like you see behind me on my door, and also there's shutters that you can, and there's several different ways of doing shutters. There's aluminum shutters, which are a lot more cost effective, than there's clear panels that let more light in. You can do a combination of the two.
For more tips on safeguarding your home, you can visit volusia.org/safeguard. One of the most important things you can do to protect your home and family before a flood is to purchase a flood insurance policy.
It's important that people have flood insurance because homeowners insurance doesn't cover rising water. There's really no such thing as an area that doesn't flood in Florida. You have low risk and high risk areas, and particularly for people that live in high risk areas, it's important that they get a flood insurance policy.
According to the National Flood Insurance Program, flooding is the #1 most common natural disaster in the United States. There is a 26% chance of experiencing a flood during the life of a 30-year mortgage in high-risk flood areas.
Normally there's a 30-day waiting period before a flood insurance policy goes into effect. So it's important to get it now, and if there's a storm, a named storm anywhere within 500 miles of the United States, flood insurance policy won't be written.
If you want to determine your risk for flooding, you can go to floodsmart.gov. You can type in your address and learn if your flood risk is low, moderate, or high. For more information about the National Flood Insurance Program, you can contact your insurance agent, or you can just visit floodsmart.gov. Did you know Florida has the second highest number of wildfires in the nation? All it takes is some dried vegetation, strong winds, and a spark from a campfire or a bolt of lightning to ignite a wildfire. Firefighters recommend that homeowners follow Firewise rules to maintain a defensible space around the home. Firefighters also advise homeowners to eliminate flammable vegetation that touches the home and thin out trees and shrubs so there is 10 to 15 feet between the tree crowns. Prune tree limbs to a height of 6 to 10 feet. Mulch is highly flammable and homeowners may want to replace it with gravel or rock.
What we've done is we've embraced a program called Ready, Set, Go. It's a national campaign, and it is an outreach program to educate the homeowners on what they can do to be firewise relative to the wildland-urban interface. And so much of Volusia County is green and looks beautiful, but there's a danger there. So the best thing we can do is help educate folks of those dangers. And that's, again, you know, keeping 30 feet perimeter around your property, clearing up any of the ladder fuels that may be there, limbs hanging over the house and things like that. But it's general knowledge that we've been advocating for a while.
For more fire safety tips, you can visit volusia.org/fire services. It's important for staff to train to be prepared to handle any emergency that may impact Volusia County. Stephanie Strong takes you to a recent training that prepares staff to operate special needs shelters in this segment of Community Health Matters.
When and if a storm hits, Volusia County Emergency Management may find itself faced with opening shelters to protect residents. Here at Palm Terrace Elementary School in Daytona Beach, Florida Department of Health employees are getting plenty of practice for what to do when special needs shelters open up. Let's join the training.
My name is Patrick Forand, and I'm the safety officer. As of right now, we have 10 clients that have shown up that are evacuees, and they are currently registered in our system, and they have been taken back and sheltered from the storm. This has been a great undertaking that we have done here for the Florida Department of Health in Volusia County, and I'm glad that we have such great partners that have come up to assist us with this.
My name is Ryan Williams. I'm the Operations Coordinator with Volusia County Emergency Management. And today we are conducting a special needs shelter exercise. In the event we have to evacuate portions of Volusia County, primarily for the potential hurricane, we would have to open shelters, which are actually our schools. So once the schools know that we are going to need that, they would shut down, and we will also have health department staff here as well as school board staff and the Red Cross involved to help manage the shelter operation.
And my name is Annette Martinson. I'm an area superintendent for Volusia County Schools, and we're here today at Palm Terrace participating in a shelter exercise. Volusia County Schools and the health department partners together to provide these exercises so that we're prepared in case of a storm. We want safe places for our community members to go.
Sheltering is often the most critical element in protecting populations during times of emergencies. Sheltering provides mass care for people who cannot safely remain in their homes due to an emergency.
My name's Linda Lignelli, and I'm the lead nurse today at Palm Terrace, and we're working with our trained, skilled nurses. It's going very well. We're processing the patients in, and our nurses are reassuring the patients that we have for this exercise.
I hope that we have learned a lot during this process so that when indeed a storm does come to Volusia County, the staff are prepared and ready to serve you as evacuees to our shelters.
Cots, bedding, and meals are provided. It's suggested you bring all medications, any special dietary items, necessary personal items. All shelterees should bring a caregiver since staff is limited. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Stephanie Strong, Public Information Officer for the Florida Department of Health in Volusia County.
If you have any questions about this or any other health-related issues, you can always log on to volusiahealth.com. Keeping the public informed during disasters is one of the county's major responsibilities. County employees work closely with the news media, provide a citizens hotline, and update the website constantly during emergencies. If you would like to receive emergency telephone or email notifications or follow the county's social media feeds, you can visit volusia.org/emergency and click on the Get Connected button on the left menu. When you think of peanut oil, fast food probably comes to mind. But Here and Now reporter Joanne Magley shows how some students from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University hope their research with this cooking oil will lead to big changes in the field of biofuel.
When Allison West and Deborah Farrell aren't in the classrooms at Embry-Riddle, they're getting their hands dirty in the garage at nearby Larson Motorsports, where they're both interns. The students are developing a custom mixture of biofuel that can be used in Larson's jet dragsters.
We're taking the 100% biofuel and breaking it down into a B20 formula, which is only 20% bio, and the rest of it's Jet A. So that's the part that we're really working on, is the experiment of that fuel.
Farrell and West are part of Embry-Riddle's Ignite program that encourages students to be involved in research. In a similar project last year, a graduate student led a team that converted cooking oil from the campus cafeteria.
The research started by using biofuel in lawn equipment used to mow the campus grass. When that worked, the students set their sights on jet dragsters.
The dragsters use 5,000 horsepower jet engines and go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 1 second. The alternative fuel was first tested on the Embry-Riddle sponsored jet dragster at a race this past spring.
We put it in the car May of this year at Orlando Speed World, and we saw that it did actually work. It did do what it needed to do, and it was comparable to Jet A. From here forward, we're trying to get the right air-fuel flow ratio and make sure that everything in the engine is doing what it needs to do to perform correctly.
Chris Larson is one of the co-owners of Larson Motorsports and has a unique partnership with the university.
Biofuel and Larson, it's an interesting combination because we do have an affiliation with Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University right here in Daytona Beach. And the biofuel that we're using here at Larson Motorsports is actually made by Embry-Riddle students that work here in our building every single day. So the very next thing for us is to continue the development of this fuel, not only for use in the cars, but also in potential applications like possibly ground applications, military applications, commercial power plants, and even, of course, turbine engines and aircraft.
West explains exactly what goes into making the right formula.
We take 40 gallons of raw peanut oil or already used cooking oil. We then add methanol and potassium hydroxide to it, let that dissolve, and we heat it up for 4 to 6 hours at 120 degrees. That allows the chemical reaction to take place and we're left with fuel.
The reaction that takes place gets rid of any contaminants, like all of the fat in peanut oil. Then the oil has to be cleaned.
We actually have to do what we call washing and drying the fuel. We put water into it very slowly and let just nature evaporate, just the sun evaporate all the water out of it. It also reduces the amount of contaminants in it and gets us to more of a raw fuel state.
Now that the students know their fuel formula works, they have great expectations for their future research.
We can reduce our emissions by, I think, 20% with the B20 blend that we have. So I think that's really exciting. And in aviation, that's a big deal, is the emissions and all that. So I'm really excited to see if it'll kickstart something in the aviation industry like it is in the auto industry, with people going green, so maybe we can reduce our emissions.
We hope that by 2015, Larson Motorsports will only be running biofuel that we make, which is pretty exciting. After that, maybe it'll become an industry standard. Who knows?
For Volusia Here and Now, I'm Joanne Magley.
What's new on the road and bridge horizon? With Community Information Director Dave Byron and his guest, County Engineer Jerry Brinton.
Thanks, Amber, and hi, everyone. While there are some major road projects either underway or in the pipeline, county government has no funds beyond these projects, which means without additional revenue, the county will be out of the road building business. The lack of adequate road funding looms as one of the biggest future challenges facing the county in the years ahead. Today we'll be talking with County Engineer Jerry Brinton to get his perspective on this challenging problem. Jerry, how you doing? Thanks for being with us.
Hi, Dave. Thanks for inviting me.
This is a complicated subject. The county's road budget contains a number of different funding sources and so forth. Let's try to simple it if we can. Let's begin with some basic background on the overall county road budget. It's pretty complicated, but let's kind of break it down into pieces. Overall, how much is the county road budget, Jerry?
Well, roughly, there's about $30 million a year. That's recurring costs.
Right.
Now that's where you expect the same revenue pretty much every year to roll in. Now there's other one-time money.
Right.
And over the next 3 years, there's a little over $100 million, but that's one-time money, grants and things like that. It's not recurring revenue.
So break the budget down into the various categories. You get an X number of dollars on an annual basis, and then you focus those dollars into meeting various needs or little pots of the budget. Tell us what the categories are.
Okay. Maintenance takes up the largest chunk, and primarily that's our gas tax.
Right.
And of the $30 million a year, about $21 million is for maintenance.
Right.
And then we have, of course, the capital projects, and over the next 3 years, as I mentioned, there's quite a bit of money, but after those projects are finished, there aren't any more.
Right. Now on the road maintenance, Jerry, are those roads primarily in unincorporated Volusia County, or when you say road maintenance, what does the county maintain?
There's over 2,000 lane miles.
Wow.
County roads, and they go through cities. Some are in an unincorporated area, but there's that's a large network, and 60% of it are your minor roads, your local roads and subdivisions and such.
Right.
So the major roads, they're less than 40%.
Wow. Now, Jerry, you mentioned one of the funding sources is gas taxes. When people go and fill up their car in Volusia County, they pay some local gas taxes. What is the gas tax in Volusia County? How much is that?
In Volusia County, it's 15 cents, and it's that's collected at the pump, and that's all the revenue we get from gas tax.
So no matter what the price per gallon is, the tax is still the same?
Absolutely. It's 15 cents regardless of the price. In fact, in 2004, 2005, that period of time, gas was on the average about $1.89.
Right.
Today, it's double that, and actually our revenues have gone down.
You know, Jerry, one of the other things I think I'm correct on is the fact that, you know, there is a transportation impact fee that the county has levied, and they, you know, kind of suspend it during, you know, downturns in the economy and so forth. But historically, this transportation impact fee on new growth, new homes and that sort of thing, has been a funding source for the road program. We know that residential and commercial construction has been way down in the last several years.
Oh, unbelievably. And that's indicative of the economy.
Sure.
Back that time frame, 8-9 years ago in 2004, 2005, our impact fee revenue was $13.5 million.
Wow.
Today, about $1.5 million.
Wow. I mean, that's
huge.
That's a substantial drop off. Let's talk about some of the projects that you have underway, and then at that point we'll talk about what happens next.
Okay, I'll start on the west side. You've got underway right now is the 6 laning of Saxon Boulevard.
In Deltona?
Yeah, well, it's in Orange City. It's,
okay.
It's on the west side of
okay.
I-4.
Got it.
And that busy corridor. Howland Boulevard, a piece of that is going to be 4-laned. That's in Deltona.
Mm-hmm.
Then as you move up into the land area, 4-laning of the section of Orange Camp Road, just west of I-4 over to Martin Luther King Boulevard. Then there's an intersection improvement at Kepler and 44. Very busy, lots of trucks running through there.
Boy, that is a busy intersection.
Absolutely. Then we jump over to the east side, and we've got underway today is the 4-laning of Timber Creek Road up in Ormond Beach.
Right.
Then going to construction this year will be the last little segment of widening to 4 lanes of LPGA in Holly Hill. And then as we move down into Daytona Beach, we've got Orange Avenue between Nova and Beach Street.
Right.
That's going to be reconstructed, and it's really a project that the county's participating in the funding, and it's in Midtown,
right.
Daytona Beach, and they're going to take the initiative on actually constructing that. Then we got a huge...
Well, just a second, Darren, let me interrupt you on that Orange Avenue, because that is a big project to find. That's like overall with the city, state, and county revenue, that's about $20 million project, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's a total makeover of that. And so it's really long needed. It's not just the road, it's undergrounding the utilities. Going to have all streetscaping. It's well beyond the time when it's needed.
They had some bad flooding problems in that area historically as well.
Yes, they have.
And Jerry, of course, with that project, it's probably worth noting that Orange Avenue is feeding into what's going to be soon the new high-rise bridge right there on Orange Avenue by the chamber and the courthouse.
Absolutely. That's under design now.
Right.
That's over 50 years old, the Veterans Memorial Bridge.
Yeah.
And it's a drawbridge.
Right.
So it costs a lot to maintain, and you've got to have a bridge tender there.
Right.
You've got to have somebody there 24/7, 365 days a year. We're designing a high-rise bridge, and that's going to be about a $50 million project.
Wow.
100% federal funded, and so we're very fortunate with that.
All right, so continue your tour. So we go down, I guess.
Then we get down into Port Orange. We've got the extension of South Williamson Boulevard,
right,
from Airport Road down to Pioneer Trail.
Right.
And then you've got another one in 2 more projects in New Smyrna Beach. One is Turnbull Bay Bridge replacement. That one's deficient. We Band-aided it to keep it open. It had closed in an emergency, and now it's been funded to be replaced. Intersection of Pioneer Trail and Turnbull Bay Road. Real sharp curves, safety problems. That's being flattened out, and that's fully funded. We go into construction very soon. Then you go down a little further to the south on the border of Edgewater and New Smyrna Beach, 10th Street. That's between the elementary school there on 10th Street and US 1. That's going to be 4-laned. And so that kind of rounds out the major projects that we have going on.
All right, so you mentioned just a few minutes ago about $100 million, give or take, for all of those projects. You know, when do you expect generally these projects to wrap up?
3 years, and that's it.
Okay, well then, after 3 years, this is where the problem starts to really come to light. What is the problem, Jerry, at that point?
Well, the problem is we've had, in 2004, the County Council made a decision to bond some of our gas tax revenue.
Right.
And we've received about $76 million in proceeds. It's much like a mortgage on your house.
Right.
You can't afford to build all these projects. You can't afford to pay cash for your house, so you borrow on it.
And they did that, Jerry, at a time when construction prices were pretty low.
Oh, absolutely.
Good value.
And that's when we were bringing in over $13 million a year in impact fees. So the idea was that the loan payment, the debt service as we call it, would be paid with impact fees. Little did we know that the economy would go into the tanks and we'd start having to use our gas tax to pay the annual debt service payments.
Right. What about maintenance? Do you think maintenance could be affected down the road by all of this?
Oh, absolutely. Problem we have, it's a huge county.
Right.
We've got 2,200 lane miles of paved roads. We've got 300 miles of sidewalks. We've got over 300 signals to maintain. It just goes on and on. You can imagine all of the mowing that has to be done and the drainage. There's over 1 million million feet of drainage pipes underground.
Wow.
And all of this has to be repaired and replaced. It's aging.
Right. I've heard County Manager Jim Deneen say that, in his opinion, this road funding challenge, which is basically we're out of money, is going to loom as one of the bigger problems that the community, the county and the community together, are going to face, because this is going to sort of hit people all at once. They don't see it so much now because you are building and the roads aren't all that congested and so forth and so on, but you're going to rapidly fall behind. It's basically the way he's stated it.
What people really aren't seeing is they're not feeling the pain now because it really hasn't hit. The limited amount of resurfacing dollars that we can put, they're going to the major roads. So your major roads you're seeing, but if you go out into your subdivisions and your local roads, they're aged, they're 15, 20 years.
Right.
And it won't be long, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 years or so, those roads are not going to be able to be resurfaced. And that's when the outcry, that's when the people will start feeling the pain.
Well, Jerry, I want to thank you for sharing the information with us. You know, we sort of got in on the ground floor of this discussion in terms of where we're going to head in the future, because I have no doubt that we'll be talking about this problem for several times to come. So thanks for sharing the information with us.
Thank you, Dave.
Our guest today, County Engineer Jerry Brinton. And with that, we'll go back to you, Amber.
Thanks, Dave, and thank you too for watching Volusia Magazine. If you have any questions about the show, feel free to give us a call at any of the numbers you see listed here, or you can log on to volusia.org and click on the News tab at the top of the screen to find us. Incidentally, you can find the County Council's meeting calendar there too. You can use volusia.org to find out about meeting dates, workshops, topics of interest, activities, and how you can become involved. In fact, here's one you might be interested in. Turn an old book into a unique pumpkin decoration during a free craft program from 1 to 3 p.m. on Monday, September 30th at the Ormond Beach Regional Library. For more information or to register, you can log on to volusialibrary.org. And we hope you won't forget to listen to Volusia Today, Volusia County Government's weekly radio program. Volusia Today airs every Tuesday and Sunday mornings on the local radio stations you see on your screen. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Amber Patterson. Have a wonderful evening.